The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. A noble infatuation. The grand chandelier of the Paris Opera House cast a golden glow over the audience, its light reflecting off the ornate masks of the gala's attendees. The air was thick with the scent of perfumes and the warmth of anticipation. Among them was Raoul, a young nobleman whose eyes were fixed not on the stage, but on the enchanting figure of Christine Daae. Her voice, pure and transcendent, filled the hall, weaving through the air like a spell. Raoul's heart raced as he listened, each note reigniting memories of their childhood together. Days filled with laughter and games in the company of Christine's father, who often spoke of an angel of music as a source of artistic inspiration. As the final note lingered in the silence, Raoul made his way backstage, determined to confess his feelings. He found Christine in her dressing room, surrounded by the soft textures of her costumes and the faint smell of roses, her face still flushed with the triumph of her performance. "Christine," he began, his voice trembling slightly, "I must speak with you. Your voice, it's as if the angel of music, that metaphorical figure of inspiration you so often mention, has graced us with her presence." Christine turned to him, her expression distant. "Thank you, Raoul, but I must prepare for the next act." "But, Christine, there's something I need to tell you," Raoul insisted, stepping closer. "I've loved you since we were children, since the days we roamed the fields with innocent abandon, and tonight I realize that I cannot keep these feelings hidden any longer." Christine's gaze drifted past him, as if she were looking at someone unseen. "Not so I see. I am under the guidance of my angel of music. He is my mentor, my protector. I cannot think of such things now." Christine replied, her voice taking on a dreamy quality, as if she were reminiscing about a distant memory. Raoul felt a pang of jealousy. This angel of music, who is he? "I've never heard of such a person in all my years at the opera," he asked, his curiosity getting the better of him. "He is a symbol of artistic inspiration, Raoul. A guiding light in my life," Christine replied, her eyes sparkling with an otherworldly intensity. "He understands me in ways no one else can." Raoul's frustration grew. "But I understand you, Christine. I've known you all my life. Please, give me a chance." He reached out to take her hand, but Christine gently pulled it away. Christine shook her head, her eyes filled with a strange fervor. "I'm sorry, Raoul. I must follow my heart, and it belongs to the angel of music." Raoul's face fell, his eyes clouding over with disappointment. He felt as though he had lost Christine to some unseen force, one that he couldn't comprehend or compete with. "I see," he said finally, his voice barely above a whisper. "Then I shall leave you to your mentor." Christine nodded, her gaze drifting back to the mirror, where she began to adjust her hairpins. Raoul watched her for a moment, feeling a pang of longing. He knew that he wouldn't give up on Christine so easily, but for now, he had to retreat and regroup. With a heavy heart, Raoul turned and left the dressing room, wondering what secrets lay behind Christine's enigmatic smile and the mysterious angel of music who seemed to hold her in his thrall. As he disappeared into the shadows, Christine's eyes lingered on the door, a fleeting hint of sadness crossing her face before she vanished into the darkness of her own thoughts. The mysterious angel of music. In her dressing room, Christine Daae sat before a mirror, bathed in moonlight. The angel of music, her mentor and muse, felt closest here. "Your voice is a gift, and I am its keeper," whispered a voice. Christine, both fearful and adoring, sought his presence. The mirror shimmered, revealing a shadowy figure. "Sing for me," the angel commanded. Christine obeyed, her voice filling the room. Raoul, in love with Christine, dismissed the angel as a fairy tale. He confessed his love, But Christine, devoted to her art and the angel, rejected him. Raoul, undeterred, vowed to win her over. As he departed, Christine's thoughts returned to the angel. She felt an intense connection, as if he knew her deepest secrets. The mirror reflected her serene face, but her heart remained troubled by Raoul's words. Had she been wrong to dismiss him? No, she thought. The angel was her true guide. With renewed determination, she began to sing once more, the music pouring from her like a confession. Confronting the opera ghost. Raoul's concern for Christine deepened as he witnessed her rapturous response to the mysterious voice and her whispered mention of the name Eric. Convinced that the angel of music and Eric were one and the same, Raoul set out to uncover the truth. One evening, he ventured into the old church where Christine had first encountered the angel. The dimly lit corridors and towering architecture created an ominous atmosphere. "Eric, I know you're here," Raoul called out. "Show yourself!" A figure emerged from the shadows, and Eric's voice echoed through the church. "You should not have come here, Raoul." Raoul stood his ground. "I've come for Christine. I believe she's under your influence, and I won't let you control her any longer." Eric's sneer was menacing. "You are out of your depth, Raoul. Your interference will only bring about your downfall." Without warning, Eric lunged at Raoul, striking him with lightning-fast speed. Raoul crumpled to the ground, unconscious. When Raoul regained consciousness, he found himself lying on the cold stone floor, his head throbbing. Shaking off the grogginess, he stumbled out of the church, his mind racing. He knew he had to find a way to protect Christine from Eric. But how? The opera ghost seemed all-powerful, and Raoul felt helpless in comparison. As he grappled with his fears, Raoul decided to take action. He spent the day making discreet inquiries and gathering information about Eric's past and his connection to Christine. Determined to free Christine from Eric's grasp, he formulated a plan to ensure their safety and escape. However, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was up against an unstoppable force. Raoul's love for Christine fueled his determination to unravel the enigma surrounding her and to confront the opera ghost, no matter the consequences. Raoul's resolve hardened as he pieced together the puzzle of Eric's past. The more he learned, the clearer it became that Eric was not merely a mentor but a captor, wielding his influence over Christine with a dangerous blend of charm and threat. Raoul knew that time was of the essence. He reached out to trusted allies within the opera, gathering a small band of supporters who shared his concerns for Christine's safety. Together, they devised a covert plan to extract Christine during the next performance, using the intricate network of backstage corridors to their advantage. The plan was risky, and the stakes were high, but Raoul was willing to risk everything for Christine's freedom. As the night of the performance approached, tension filled the air. Raoul could only hope that their plan would succeed before Eric's grip on Christine tightened any further. Escalating demands. In the dimly lit corridors of the opera house, Raoul's resolve hardened as he pieced together the enigma of the opera ghost. His recent encounter in Eric's lair had laid bare the ghastly truth of the man's disfigurement and his violent possessiveness over Christine. Raoul, fueled by a mix of protective rage and a pledge to end Eric's reign of terror, was now more determined than ever to confront the specter that haunted the grand halls. Meanwhile, Eric, whose presence had become an omnipresent shadow over the opera, continued to exert his influence. Though his demands for control had ceased to be vocalized, they were now an unspoken rule that all abided by. His latest fixation was not on the opera's management, but on a grander scheme that involved the very soul of music. He sought to compose a masterpiece, an opera that would immortalize his and Christine's intertwined fates. This new ambition revealed a side of Eric previously unseen, a vulnerability in his quest for a legacy beyond fear and control. Christine, caught in the eye of this emotional storm, grappled with the depths of her own heart. Her feelings for Raoul were clear, a love pure and unwavering. Yet, there was a haunting melody that resonated within her, a chord struck by Eric's tragic existence. His love, though twisted and dark, was a symphony of sorrow that echoed her own loneliness. In the quiet moments, she found herself torn between the safety Raoul offered and the mysterious allure that Eric represented. Despite the fear he instilled in her, there was an undeniable pull towards the man who could create such beauty amidst his own darkness. Christine's heart was a battleground, love and terror, intertwined in a dance as complex as the operas that played out on stage. As the opera house prepared for Eric's magnum opus, Christine stood at the precipice, her soul echoing the high notes of a destiny yet unwritten. A masked ball. The grand crush room of the Opera Garnier was alive with the sound of music and laughter. The air was thick with anticipation and the sweet scent of perfume as masked figures danced and twirled in a kaleidoscope of color. Raoul scanned the room for a glimpse of Christine. His heart raced when he finally spotted her, a black domino concealing her features. "Christine!" he called out, his voice barely audible over the din of the celebration. She turned, her eyes meeting his for a fleeting moment before she placed a finger to her lips, signaling him to silence. Raoul nodded, respecting her wish for secrecy. As the evening wore on, Raoul's attention was drawn to a figure cloaked in red, the infamous Red Death. The figure moved through the crowd with a grace that was almost otherworldly, and Raoul felt a chill run down his spine. He knew, without a doubt, that this was Eric, the opera ghost. Christine's voice broke through the cacophony. "Raoul, please," she pleaded, her voice barely above a whisper. "You mustn't do this." Raoul turned to her, his expression one of confusion and hurt. "But, Christine, No, Raoul," she interrupted, her voice firm despite the tremor that ran through it. "You don't understand. It's not safe." Raoul's concern for Christine's safety took over. "Then tell me, Christine. Tell me what's going on." Christine looked around nervously before leaning in close. "I can't. Not here. But please, trust me. I will explain everything when the time is right." Raoul wanted to protest, but the look in Christine's eyes stopped him. There was fear there, and a deep sorrow that he couldn't begin to understand. "All right," he said finally, his voice soft. "I trust you." Christine gave him a small, sad smile before disappearing into the crowd once more. Raoul watched her go, a sense of foreboding settling in his chest. The Persian appeared beside him, his eyes filled with an urgency that matched the pounding of Raoul's heart. "We must act quickly," he whispered, pulling Raoul away from the throng of dancers. Raoul followed the Persian, his mind racing with questions and concerns for Christine's safety. They navigated through the winding corridors of the opera house, the music and laughter of the masked ball fading into the distance. The Persian's urgent whispers hung in the air, filling Raoul with a sense of determination to uncover the secrets that threatened Christine. The opera ghost's blackmail. Managers Richard and Moncharmin sat huddled over a mysterious letter that had appeared as if by magic on their desk. The elegant script belied its threatening message, demanding a salary, a reserved box, and a lead roll for Miss Di. Moncharmin's disbelief was palpable. "Blackmail in our own house," he exclaimed. Richard's confusion was evident. "And who is this? Og? Some sort of ghost?" Their debate was cut short by Madame Giry's stern warning to heed the opera ghost's demands. The opera house was alive with whispers of a spectral presence, as performers spoke of disembodied voices and chilling drafts. That evening, the grandeur of the opera house was on full display, with its opulent decorations and intricate designs casting a spell over the audience. The orchestra's melody swelled as the curtain rose, but unease lingered, with all eyes drawn to the darkened box 5. A disembodied voice shattered the harmony. "Remember my demands," and the grand chandelier's ominous sway turned to disaster, plummeting towards the chaos below. In its wake, Christine Daae disappeared, leaving a single white rose in a theater in turmoil. As chaos erupted in the auditorium, backstage was thrown into panic. Performers scrambled, and Carlotta, the prima donna, was inconsolable, blaming the ghost for Christine's disappearance. In the shadows, Raoul, Vicomte de Chagny, was determined to find Christine and reveal the opera ghost's sinister plans. His search led him through the panicked crowds, overhearing whispers of the ghost's influence over the opera. In their office, Richard and Moncharmin faced the skepticism of M. Mifroid, who demanded evidence beyond their ghostly tales. "Gentlemen, I need concrete evidence, not fanciful stories," he insisted. Moncharmin, with a hint of desperation, presented a safety pin. "This was on my desk, sir. I think it's a clue." Mifroid, unimpressed, dismissed it. "A safety pin? Hardly conclusive proof, monsieur." The investigation deepened as Raoul, guided by the enigmatic Persian, descended into the opera house's shadowy underbelly. With pistol in hand, they navigated the labyrinthine cellars, the Persian's cryptic advice echoing in the damp air. "We're getting close. Be prepared for anything." Raoul's resolve hardened. He was ready to confront whatever secrets lay hidden in the darkness to save Christine and expose the opera ghost's malevolent grip on the opera house. An unlikely alliance. The Persian, a man with a noble and generous heart, had been watching Eric's actions closely. He knew that Eric was not just a mysterious figure, but a dangerous one. The Persian had discovered Eric's ability to disappear in the third cellar, his terrifying fantasies, and his repulsive ugliness that seemed to put him beyond the pale of humanity. One day, the Persian decided to take action. He sought out Raoul, Christine's childhood friend, and told him about the danger that Eric posed. "Raoul, I need your help," the Persian said gravely. "Eric is not just a ghost. He's a monster. He's been manipulating Christine, using his moral influence over her." Raoul was shocked by the Persian's words, but he knew that he had to trust him. "What do you propose we do?" Raoul asked. "We need to enter Eric's house through the third cellar," the Persian replied. "Eric has set up traps and obstacles to prevent anyone from finding him." Raoul nodded. "I'm ready to do whatever it takes to save Christine." Together, the Persian and Raoul made their way to the third cellar. They carried pistols for protection and moved stealthily through the darkness, using a dark lantern to guide their way. As they navigated through Eric's lair, they encountered strange obstacles. They found a peculiar tree trunk with branches that ran up the walls and disappeared into the ceiling. Raoul noticed that the wall was actually a looking glass. "What is this place?" Raoul whispered to the Persian. "It's Eric's world," the Persian replied. "A world of illusions and tricks." They continued on, knowing they were getting close to Christine. Finally, they reached the torture chamber where Christine was being held captive. They could hear her faint cries for help. With pistols drawn, they entered the torture chamber, ready to face Eric and rescue Christine. As they stepped into the dimly lit chamber, Raoul's eyes darted around, searching for any sign of Eric. The Persian placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder, signaling him to be silent and cautious. They could see Christine, tied to a chair in the center of the room. "Christine," Raoul whispered. She turned her head towards the sound, and hope shone in her eyes. The Persian moved to her side, untying the ropes that bound her. But before they could take another step, a chilling laugh echoed through the chamber. Eric emerged from the shadows, his face hidden behind a grotesque mask. "Did you really think it would be that easy?" he sneered. Raoul raised his pistol. "Let her go, Eric. This ends now," he declared. Eric's laugh filled the chamber. "Oh, but the game has just begun," he taunted. "Raoul, remember what I told you. Keep your hand at the level of your eye." The Persian's voice was calm but carried an urgency that spurred Raoul into action. He adjusted his stance, ready for Eric's next move. The standoff was tense, each second stretching into eternity as they faced the man who had become their nemesis. The final confrontation. The final confrontation. In the depths of the opera house, Raoul and the Persian stood resolute, their previous journey through the labyrinthine passages a testament to their determination. The Persian, with a grave tone, cautioned, "Eric's mind is a maze as complex as these tunnels. We must tread carefully, for his traps are many and his wrath unforgiving." They found themselves in a chamber devoid of water but fraught with a different peril. Christine, poised before two levers, faced a dire choice. "Raoul, the scorpion or the grasshopper?" she implored, her voice a mix of hope and dread. "Eric's riddles are cruel. The scorpion's sting could bind me to him in a twisted engagement, while the grasshopper might leap us towards freedom or a trap." Raoul, his heart a tempest of fear and courage, replied, "Christine, your heart knows the melody of truth. Let that guide you." His faith in her was unwavering. Christine, with a resolve born of love and desperation, turned the scorpion. The chamber remained still, a silent testament to her choice. Then a hidden orchestra of gears and pulleys sprang to life, not to flood the room, but to reveal a passage previously unseen. Amidst their escape, a shadow detached from the darkness, a figure both familiar and enigmatic. "I am the echo of a legacy long forgotten," the figure said, their voice a haunting whisper. "A son, born of darkness and music, heir to the opera ghost's secrets." Raoul and Christine exchanged wary glances as the stranger stepped forward, their features illuminated by flickering torches. The Persian's eyes narrowed, sensing an unseen power emanating from this new presence. The stranger's gaze locked onto Christine, and for an instant they seemed to share a silent understanding. "You have chosen the scorpion," they stated, their tone devoid of emotion. "Now, you must face the consequences." Raoul instinctively positioned himself between Christine and the mysterious figure, his hand resting on the hilt of his sword. "Who are you?" he demanded. "I am Leon, Eric's son," the stranger replied, their voice dripping with an unsettling intensity. "And I have come to claim my inheritance, the opera house, its secrets, and those bound to its darkness." As Leon's words hung in the air, Christine felt an unshakable sense of foreboding. She had thought she had escaped Eric's grasp, but now she faced a new threat, one that threatened to entangle her in a web of deceit and terror once more.